Welcome to Vermont Artists and Authors, where we interview great storytellers and artists from the amazing Green Mountain State. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're excited to have with us the internationally acclaimed and highly talented Vermont-based artist and illustrator, Bill Lutz.
Bill. Well, internationally, hopefully one of these days. That's really cool. Thank you. And thanks to all your listeners for having me aboard. This is going to be I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You should have said slightly crazy and, born and raised in New York. That might scare everybody, but that's the fun part. As I said, if you want, I can always drop into a New York or accent, Brooklyn accent, or a Long Island accent, and I'll freak everybody out.
And so, because we met, we had it with at the Vermont Comic, the Vermont Sci-Fi Fantasy and Horror Festival that was back in April.
I love that con. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and you were there. You had all your images, all your posters, and you were there sketching and drawing away, and you were super busy.
I try to keep it busy. I mean, I try to do things. I try to set up some commission clients some I'm working on now. Some got messed up. Some are doing great. I also did a lot of drawings of people there. I would charge a certain amount. I draw them in, like pencil, and do little inks and side inks and stuff like that. I didn't do 3 lines and charge them $100 for drawing. I went out of the way. I did semi sketch illustrations for people because I am from New York, but I'm not that popular enough that I can say, here's 3 lines. It's Batman. Give me $300. No, but I will go out of my and top it off. I love to draw.
Right.
I mean, it goes. I tell everybody who looks at my website, looks at my artwork, or wants to know anything about me. You want anything about me? Just look at my artwork. It'll tell you everything about me. I try to combine both realism and comic art with a bit of touch of fun. I'm not sure how to put the terms anymore. I do try to study composition and design. 2 of my favorite artists were Drew Surtham and Bob Peak, and I've always liked doing stuff like that.
Right.
I've designed that is actually for when I go back on more cons, and I try to make that as part of my that's one of the back of my business card. It just shows you who I am, what I can do. You see comic artwork on top. You see the movie posters and the illustrations on the bottom, plus with graphic logos and design. So I do illustration, cartooning, and graphic design.
Right. Now, so Bill, you're a full-time creative now, correct?
Yes, I will be pleased to say that I am. I just took the leap into being a full-time illustrator cartoonist. At that con we were at, I did so well, and it felt so good, and it felt so right that I had to take my chance. I got back to my full-time job within a month. I was ready I was ready to murder everyone, pretty much. And I got tired of it. I really did. And it's not that I didn't care for the employees or the people there. I did. It's not me. It was IT work, and it was technical work, helping people. I was level 1 tech. Plus I was also the office manager and the guy that answers the phone. And of course, I'm the guy, if you look at me or know me, I don't go, "Thank you for calling. How may I help you?" I'm like, "Good morning." So I wake everybody up. And the funny thing was, at the job, when I was doing basically my Robin Williams Good Morning Vietnam thing on the phone, people calling and laughing their butts off. And it took the edge off when my techs had to deal with them, because laughter is probably the best weapon against people being pissed off. I actually had to learn that in 2020.
Who were the illustrators that you kind of most admired?
As illustrators, as I said, was Drew Surtham. He's the one who did all the Star Wars movie posters before they went to AI and before they did photographs. And Bob Peak was another illustrator. He was a fashion designer. He's also helped I believe he helped put together the School of Visual Arts. People I also used to follow, Tarzan by Bjorn Hogarth. He had exaggerated command of anatomy, but it was there. A lot of people don't like his stuff, but it helped me get the basis understanding form and everything. I mean, his style was brilliantly detailed, but exaggerated to a point that it was blatant, which I happen to like. Several illustrators from my school I used to follow. One was Charles Lilly, who was a phenomenal realistic illustrator. Stanley Martucci, Cheryl Gersbach were teachers from my SVA. and they are a husband-wife team. They had a specific impact in my life as an illustrator and a cartoonist. Oh, they were tough. They were rough, but I appreciate everything they did. SVA, of course, had a big impact. Perhaps the most important person, and I can get to the comic art in a minute, but in my illustration and graphic, in illustration, basically, I had one instructor who was my drawing instructor. And at the time, he was the program chair at SVA. His name was San Martin. He passed away some time ago. He retaught me how to draw. And it didn't matter if I were taking his class. I developed a relationship where I can take his classes over and over again. Every year from sophomore on, I was taking one or two Sam Martin's drawing classes. As a result, he would do a portfolio. Now at SVA, to graduate, you'd had to have a professional portfolio, just like mostly all art schools. At SVA, it was frightening because you didn't graduate. You had to have that portfolio, and you were being evaluated by the teachers or your instructors, who were all professional illustrators. And again, to this day, I'm grateful to the SVA for everything. That was perhaps one of the best times of my life was going to that school.
And so can you remind people, for listeners that might not be familiar with that acronym, what's SVA?
SVA is the School of Visual Arts in New York City. It is one of the most art schools in the country, and one of the most expensive too. But it is, I think, right now the number one school in the country. It also has the best location in the world because it's in New York City. And you're taught by the professionals how to be a professional. And as I was speaking about San Martin, in my final year, he ran a independent study portfolio class. Unheard of. Everybody had to go to classes with their portfolios. With him, you would meet with him once or twice a week in his office and discuss your plans and how to do things, and then the rest was up to you. To say that everybody flooded to get into that portfolio class was an understatement. I think like 350, 400 students applied for his portfolio. 10 got in, and I was one of the 10. And I had an interview. I mean, I 3 times you had an interview with Sam for the class, why you wanted to do it, what was your focus. God, I was freaking nervous when I interviewed with him. And I had him for 3 years as a drawing instructor. But when I took that class, my eyes just opened up about how to create things, composition study, and he also formed me the artist that I told you about. However, being an illustrator, it didn't stop me from being a comic book artist. And I could have taken comic book design at SV. I did not. I took minor classes with it. I was really focused on illustration. There was something about illustration, composition, design I loved. But I still draw comics. I still love to draw comics. I've written a graphic novel, which I'm in the process of finally inking. And it's going to be a big one. I was originally going to plan to sell comic book issues, but comic books are on the downside right now. People don't want to buy one issue and wait. They want a graphic novel. And I'm hoping to have my first graphic novel, big one. It's going to be a big one because the story's huge. Ready by the next sci-fi horror con next year, I hope. It is called Frontiersman. It is called the subtitle Pathways. It has superheroes because I like superheroes. I'm not going to deny it. I mean, I grew up with Superman, Batman, Captain America, the FF, the X-Men. I like superheroes. But it's also got space demons. It's got aliens. It's got politics. It's got religion. Intergalactic themes. Romance, believe it or not, but science fiction and action adventure. And it's been something I've been doing for a long time. It was the precursor for me writing my first novel, which I also wrote a horror novel, which was we released, and it's on Amazon.com too. It's called Saga Zen.
Oh, cool.
I often make fun of it because I tell people it's a horror novel, and I say it's got vampires, werewolves, witches, demons, the whole good thing. But I promise them one thing: the vampires won't twinkle.
Now, let's talk a little bit about also, Bill, your kind of like how you balance like analog art style versus like digital art.
It's a
How
process
do you
I change
how
every
do you
day.
balance that?
I don't. It changes every day. Originally, I'd always did everything in pencil, hand pencil on a 11 by 17 illustration board. Or a comic board. I would pencil everything. I love to pencil. Half the stuff I make digitally. I make digitally ink, which I'm getting practice at now. I'm working on digitally inking my graphic novel, or I hand ink it. Um, the problem with, I always scan everything, so I have backup copies. My pencils look like if I decide to go and ink over them, or I will do a blue screen print or a blue ink print that out, and there's a process to that. It takes a while, and then I ink it over. But I'm getting into digital inking right now because I'm finding I use Photoshop and Illustrator to help me out. It's still my hand. I'm still drawing with the mouse. There's no AI involved in this. No AI, guys. I promise. Um, and it's a tool I use. Like AI, I'm going to learn it, but it's going to be a tool. It's not going to. You're not an artist if you tell a computer, "Hey, give me Superman fighting Lex Luthor with crypto barking in the background," and it does all the work. You're not an illustrator. You're not an artist. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm going to offend some people, but I've heard several people say because they've mastered AI, they're commercial artists. No, but it's a great tool. No, don't get me wrong. If applied right, it can be a great tool for
Right.
an illustrator, cartoonist, graphic designer, artist. So again, I remember when Photoshop and Illustrator came out, people went bad. I'm going to curse, sorry. Went bananas about it. It's a tool. If you
Right.
use it as a tool and apply it as a tool, then it helps your artwork. Photoshop and Illustrator help me out my artwork. So the process is I always hand pencil everything. I'll either digitally ink it or ink it. And then when I do full colors and designs, I will put it into Photoshop and Illustrator. I will do it on 600 DPI and I will render it out like a paintbrush, colors and everything, add some effects to it. And Photoshop's some great tools to use. And then I usually create, if it's like a movie poster, usually 24 by 36, I give it to the client. Right now, I don't charge for anything of that. I just simply, they pay for the whole bundle, and that's part of what they get as well. I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that great yet. I can't charge you for every little bleeding feather. So,
and so how about talk about like one of your favorite projects. What was one of the favorite projects that you've done, and why does that stand out for you?
and it's the Animaniacs dressed as the X-Men. It was a humorous. It was based on. It's a humorous image based on Dave Cockrum's opening page from X-Men 107. And what I decided to do, and I had a lot of color and effects and everything. Someone challenged me that I had no humor in my artwork at the time, and offered to pay me to do an illustration, do something crazy, make it fun. So what better yet way than Animaniacs is a fantastic cartoon, it was hysterically insane. I made the X-Men, the Animaniacs. And I took it out at the pivotal time when the X-Men were really super cool, at the primary, the international team when it first came out. And I just thought about what character represents what character. And I threw in the Brain as Professor X because only the Brain could be Professor X.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So Cyclops became Pinky, Wolverine and Nightcrawler became Yakko and Wacko. I threw in Rita and Runt. Rita as Rogue instead of Banshee because I thought Rogue was one of the more popular characters anyway. Runt is a goofy Colossus. Slappy Squirrel is Storm. And when it came to the point where they had Phoenix, well, only Dot Warner could be Phoenix. And it was a hit. A lot of people, I got sold a lot of poster time. People thought it was a hit. It was hysterical. That's one of my favorite pieces because it's just a standout. It's an homage to some of my favorite artists. And it also proves I can make you laugh. At least I think it does. I mean, Dot Warner can only be Phoenix. Keep that in mind.
So for our listeners, can you describe what the photo is, the picture is?
It's the Shadow standing on top of a building in the middle of a crazy ass stormy night, and he's got his guns out. He had guns. He shot people, and he's dressed in black with a red scarf, and you just see this really buzzer-like nose, and his eyes are mysterious. I got prints. I'm just selling prints of that. People love it. This is all more recent stuff. I did an Assignment Earth cover, Droid's Tale Star Wars, Phantom of the Opera, a demon paste from one of the guys from the con. He posed for me, and I turned him into a demon. People loved it. Heavily into Doctor Doom right now because obviously Doom is going to be the villain.
Mm-hmm.
If you scroll down, there's some more. I did some humor covers of Doom, like it being groped by the Sandersons. Stop right now. You go back up, right next to the Star Trek one, where it says Phantom of the Swine. Another funny one where I just substituted the Muppets in for the characters of the Phantom of the Opera. And got hysterical. People loved it. I did Star Trek poster from when I was with Star Trek Phase 2 when they were doing movies and stuff.
Oh.
I submitted a script called Honor's Perspective. It was a Klingon episode. Before we were getting Klingon episodes all over the place. And it was with established actors that I had known who worked with me on Phase 2, and I did a movie poster for them. It's called, that came out really good. The Thrawn poster was a commission. Someone won Star Wars for their friend. And the steampunk was for the Vermont Gatherings poster.
Okay.
And I don't have which will be up probably this weekend. I have the sci-fi horror one too that's done. That was an illustration I did to promote the steampunk. Excuse me.
Cool.
And then, like I said, one last one. That was for a client piece. Now, the gentleman with the beard and the hat, his name is Valentine Vigil, and he is a renowned interior designer in Philadelphia. He was also an instructor at ITT when I went there as an instructor myself, and he loved my artwork, and he actually mentored me a little bit. He was really cool about it. So he wanted his family steampunked.
Oh, cool.
And I did. And this took a life of its own because it was complex and fun to do, and researching steampunk and all the images and stuff. It was pretty much an incredible piece to do for them, and he loved it.
Right.
There's the Thrawn. This is the one I think that really kicked me back into doing compositional illustration. They wanted something from Star Wars, right. And of course we all survived the sequels. Hopefully. And I had just seen Ahsoka, and Thrawn was back, which was one of my favorite villains next to Vader and the Emperor. So I decided to make a poster based on the events after Ahsoka Season 1, and then throw in the original Star Wars characters, Han, Leia, Luke, keep the Rebel characters in, Thrawn, and some of the characters from Ahsoka, and make a movie poster out of it.
What advice would you offer a young artist that's just starting out now?
Don't give up. Understand that you're on a path that's going to be a lot different than what everybody expects it to be. It's not easy. And every day I still have things I have to deal with. Money can be an issue. But don't give up. If you truly like it, don't give up. There was a saying once that if you wake up every day, well, I'll say myself, I wake up every day, I want to draw. Every time I go to bed, I want to draw. So all that day, I keep saying I want to draw. And even if I don't draw, I still want to draw. What did that tell you? I should be an artist. I should want to draw. That makes me feel better about myself. Yes, we all have problems. We all have financial bills to pay. We live in a wacky country right now. I get it. But if you're doing stuff that's not you, that's can physically and emotionally hurt you, then that's not the career you want. For artists starting out, don't despair. Don't give up. Challenge yourself. Learn. Take classes. Go talk to other artists. Go talk to your heroes at cons. Don't be afraid to purchase books. Don't be afraid to use the web. Don't be afraid to use tools on the web. But don't give up for the sake of giving up because, I can't make it. No. Accept that you're an artist and utilize it. Use it. Become who you are. It took me a long time. I mean, I will tell you that I am 59 years old right now. I got a long way to go. I'm not planning on kicking off anytime sooner, believe me. And if I do, I'll be at the drawing table, like slumped over. I'll probably have a grin on my face because I died drawing. I'll be very happy. And then anybody who's purchasing my artwork, it'll probably be worth $1 million. So there you go. That was a joke, folks. I do that. But don't give up. Don't listen to other people saying, well, I think you should do this because, this is what it should be for, you have to take care of the whole family. Well, you can still take care of your family, still do the career choice you want to do. You can still do the things other people do, but still take your career. It's a disciplined life, and I'm still having issues with it. But I know, especially after recent events, that I'm most happy when I'm drawing, when I'm working on commissions. Yeah, I have part-time jobs. I work at Staples part-time. I also bartend part-time, but they're part-time gigs. I don't have to do any serious thinking like I was on my full IT job. That was, and to me itself, while it was a great job, great pain, was detriment. It retarded my ability to draw and my willingness to want to do it. And since I left, I've been very happy. I'm doing a lot of drawing, a lot of stuff. It's pouring out of me. And I've actually dropped about 20 more pounds since I left my job. Of course, I'm taking shots like everybody else who cannot stand being overweight, but it kicked in more when the endorphins kicked in because I'm drawing. I'm happy. Making client commissions, getting to know people, understanding what they want with their artwork. Don't quit. Don't stop. Study, learn, draw real life, get out there.
Right.
Don't give up. And for God's sakes, if you disagree with someone, fine. But it's your path. It's your course. No one else's.
So what's one question that you wish people would ask more often about your work?
Can I hire you? I would love people to ask me, why do you do this kind of thing? Or why this particular type of genre and style of illustration? It is classic 80s, 90s, early 2000s style because it looks cool. It's detailed, it's graphic work, and I like to hand draw it. I hand draw. That's also, people using iPads, Procreate, stuff like that. Nothing against it. I think it's wonderful. It's a great tool, but I just prefer starting with the pencil and hand drawing it.
And so, if our listeners and viewers want to learn more about you and your work, Bill, where's the best place they could go to?
Okay, well, you can go to Bill Lutz Designs, the website we looked at. You can look at some of my stuff there. I have an Etsy account, which is in the process of being rebuilt. I'm selling prints and stuff there. You can get those if you want to purchase something. They're really cheap. You can check me out on Facebook, which is Bill Lutz and Bill Lutz Designs on Facebook. Facebook will merge them. It's a real pain in the neck. Also, a page called Dragon Phoenix Media. I did have a one-time comic company with some friends, but Uncle COVID kicked in. The page is still there, so I still promote my artwork through that. And I'm always posting all my artwork on Facebook for people to take a look. I always invite comment. Tell me what you think. Ask me any question. How did I do that? Why did I do? What did I do this? I prefer if people ask me questions. I do have followers on Instagram. I'm also on Threads, and anything that gets posted on Facebook goes on to Instagram. You really won't see many pictures of me or stuff like that because you'll just see my artwork. Well, I have a big image issue. I look like a giant bear. I mean, for Christ's sake, let the weight come off and I'll feel a little better about myself. Right. The insecure artist, that's the part where I have a little bit of an image issue. And yeah, that's the best way. Ask me about, pathways. The Frontiersman would come in. Ask me about what projects I'm working on. Hire me to do a project for you. My rates are reasonable. I work with anybody, even if you can't afford it at a certain point, we'll work something out. I understand what it's like not to be able to afford things. Trust me, I'm still trying to buy a supercomputer and I'm still almost paid off. It's driving me nuts right now. And of course, it's an iMac because I'm a Mac dude.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Bill. This has been a fantastic conversation. And when you get your your graphic novel coming out, let us know. That'll be coming back on.
I'll let you guys know and everything. I'm sure I'll see you at the cons, and please, I'll come back for sequel interviews. I'm a big fan. I love this stuff. I really. I want to thank you for inviting me. This is really cool. And I hope you're. I really do hope that your viewers get a great time. And like I said, check out my site, check out Facebook, and just say, reach out to me, ask questions. I don't bite much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Bill.